Hi, Richard here from In The Box Productions. I hope you're having a great day. So let's get on with tutorial number 4. So here we have these chopped up beats. There are different ways of doing that. I did that manually. I just listened to this and kind of decided that the kick drum is not that brilliant. I just wanted to show you how to make a kick drum using Ultra Beat, but I probably won't use that. So what I want to do is go back into the Apple loops. I found a nice low kind of bump beat that I like, that sounds really cool in house. Now if you click on this, you can hear that, you know that. Now there's another thing you can do as well, is if you start your track, then come down here, this will now play along. You can check out stuff that you like. That off. You could have that actually doubling up, you know, if you wanted. We'll keep that for now. That's quite bumpy, housey sounding. A bit loud here. We'll sort the levels out in a minute. So stop that. I'm going to import that like so, and then as you can see here, we have the same problem, that it's all in one track. Now, like I said, there are other ways to split this up. So we can use the flex function here. Now, flex is really powerful. We'll be looking into this a lot more. You can choose different sorts of flex algorithms here. If you go up to flex pitch, this will open up a Melodyne style function. If you look at this, we'll turn this up a bit. You can see the notes here. If you double click on this, this will open up. We'll just turn the flex on here and this will open up and show you the notes. You can then change these notes, like if I play this, put this in solo, and then you can hear the difference. Like if I bring this up here, this will now play. See? Really high here. Which is great on vocals and even drums. You can do stuff like that. I just Control Z to undo that. But that's not what we're going to be using here. What I want to be using is the slicing tool. Now, so I'm going to go back to just close this up here for now, and then I'm going to go back to flex, the flex choice of algorithms, and go to slicing. Now this is now sliced up. You can time stretch here like this, okay, which we're not going to be doing. So by double clicking here, we can go into the file and then set the individual flex markers here, which are the slicing markers that we're going to be using. So like if I go to the end of that, I'd like that to be there. This one, slightly move it up. So what we're going to do is move these around to go to where we want them to divide our loop up. So if I just do that manually, you'll see that afterwards all I've got to do is come out, click on slice at transient markers, and that will divide everything up for me automatically. Then I go like a right click on top of here, then we want to use the transient markers. So that's divided up where, if you can see, where my transient markers were, not on the flex markers. The flex markers are to time stretch it and make the beats longer or shorter. So now we've actually got this here. We can move this down to another track. So if I just come out a little bit here, a couple of tracks, then I could just quite easily just pull these down and kind of sort this out the way we want to sort it out. So what I'm going to do now is go away and do this, separate this up, and I'll be back in a minute. So now I've divided that up nicely. This is sounding quite cool. Here we have a we have a clap there, but I might leave that on the same track for now. We'll see. I'm just going to delete these bits here, so that's nice and clean. So if we listen to this on its own, then we've got this here. With the rest, it sounds quite cool for now. So this track we don't need. Delete that. Hit delete on the keyboard. Delete that. So let's color code this. Color coding is very important because you can easily find your way around the session. When you get a heavy session, you've got a lot of parts in there. If you color code your drums and your bass and your keyboards and all different parts to the way you like it, you can easily find your way around the session. So what I do is I open up here this color palette, and then for my bass drum, what I usually do is I use this color here, and if you click in the empty part here, click on that, this will then come up here. Now here I opened up the configure track header and show bar colors. This will then show, if I take this off, they will hide. If you put that back on, that shows up. I did that earlier on. So here now on my mixing desk, you can see that this corresponds to the track. They match. So what I do now is I go from here to here, and then simply click on the color I want, click into the empty part, click back on that, and then that will do that. It's a shame because in Logic 9 this kind of followed automatically. As soon as I coloured something like this, if I went like this, that would automatically colour the track as well in the mixing desk, but it doesn't seem to do that anymore. I don't know why. So Apple, get your act together, get that sorted again. I don't know if there maybe there's something I haven't ticked or something, but I haven't yet found it. So if anyone knows how to do that, tell me. Right, so that's done. Let's get on with the track. Okay, whilst I was away, I renamed my parts, so now I know what's what. What we can now do is you notice that the parts here haven't got the same name because this was the original name. So what I do here, right click on your region, and then you can rename regions here, or you can rename regions by tracks. It takes this name here. So what I've got to do now is just go down each track, click on the regions whilst they're all, make sure that all the regions are highlighted. So we just right click on this bit here, rename regions. You've got a shortcut here, as you can see. Bit of a complicated shortcut, so it's just as quick to click on it. And then you can just right click, rename, go down, right click, rename, etc. Okay, make sure you go into the top half of the, otherwise it won't work. So we've now done that. There you go. And up the top we do that one as well. Just arrange this, put our MIDI track up the top, leave that where that is for now. I can even rename that as I want as well. So let's start copying this down and making some sense out of this. We have the break here, and then we have another break there. So I know that if I copy this here, will give me some room here. Then we've got an extra bit here, and the break is longer. We'll have a look at that in a minute. What I want to look at is go back to the original track. So we just solo that, and at the beginning we notice we've got the bass, we've got this intro thing here. Right then, so let's add a bass to this. We're going to start by adding 2 software instruments. So put down 2, enter. Now let's choose a couple of stock plugins here. I'm going to use the Alchemy for a start. Find a bass here, nice kind of electric house. Let's go for a kind of rubbery sounding bass. There you go, rubber synth bass. Double click on that, that will open that up. Now you can hear this here. So you want to get a similar kind of vibe to this. So let's try and get something similar to that. It doesn't have to be the same kind of vibe, but different. That's what we want to do. So not the same sound, but I just want to get something down first and the sound we'll work on later. So we got the rubbery synth sound here, which is cool. And because I'm playing on my external keyboard, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to open up the piano roll so you can see what I'm playing on the piano roll itself. Let's try and record that, yeah? So just close that down a little bit. We can see this. We can even make this window a little bit smaller so the notes are kind of, we can see them easy. See, coming up here. So now, all I've got to do now is make myself a little bit of room here. I'm just going to do the first half up to here, and we'll let myself a little bit of time to come in with the click. So just press on R on the keyboard and that will start recording automatically. So as you can see, I made a few mistakes, but it doesn't matter. We'll correct them now just by quantizing. Close the synth now so we can see what we can do in. Got a double note here we don't want. As you can see, this one here we don't want, so just delete that. Just bring this window down a little bit here by putting this, if you want to. Open this up a little bit. You can see I've made another mistake here. Delete that. We can then put the velocity up. If you click on this, you have different choices here of what you can change. Here, I'm just going to concentrate on the velocity of it, make it harder. So put it right up so it goes all red, then it'll be hard. I can bring that down a bit to the way I want it to sound. See, this is not volume, this is velocity, it's different. The harder you hit it, the velocity makes the sound change. Like on a piano, when you hit a piano very softly, it's dung, and then you hit it hard, it goes dang. Whereas the volume is just bringing the same sound up, whereas the velocity changes the actual sound. So we've got that. And that's sounding okay. I mean, it's not fantastic bass line, but it'll do for this kind of track. So that's quite cool, but it's a bit toppy. So what I want to do is copy this down here. And let's put another bass on, say the ES2 stereo. And let's find a sub bass. Now I use a sine wave, just a pure sine wave that you can find in here, a sine bass, which is a sine wave basically, and this will give you a low end. Okay, this is still too loud, but what I want to do after is put these drums into their own respective subgroups where I will be controlling the volumes. I'll be doing that soon because I like to work with a mix that's already sounding quite good, At the moment, this is really, really rough. We just laid down a few bits and pieces, but after I'm going to start putting these into subgroups, and I work directly into the subgroup without thinking about my levels afterwards, because I have them blocked at the levels that I want them to, and I just need to push into the limiter of the subgroup, and it will keep the level where I want it. We have to watch that you don't over push, because otherwise it starts distorting. But if it could just have it pushing a little bit into the limiter so it controls it. We'll be looking at that very soon, and maybe in the next lesson. I just wanted to put some sounds down first. So we've got this. It's still a little bit loud, but we'll bring that all down. If you notice here is loud, we'll have to bring this down. So what I do is I just put in a EQ. I've already set mine like this, and I just bring down the volume of that, so we got less volume. There you go. So we've got a bass part there with the sub sounding okay. So let's move on and think about maybe chopping up some vocals or something, so we can start working on this beginning part with the bass on its own, and maybe some kind of chopped up vocal thing. I'll do maybe sample Ella's voice that I've got in the intro. That could be fun. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, leave some comments, and I will see you soon.